Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Recipe Redemption. I'm Mike Uyak. Today, courtesy of Weight Watchers International from 1974, we're doing Soybeans Italiano. Because when I think of Italian food, naturally, the first thing that comes to mind is soybeans. Oh, Weight Watchers, you so silly. So, this is a fairly straightforward, simple recipe, right? You're basically putting dried soybeans, um, actually cooked dried soybeans, that's an important part, with some frozen spinach, top it with a tomato sauce. Okay, now it's the tomato sauce that I'm kind of interested in looking at, because you don't start off with, crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, even tomato puree. You start off with vegetable juice. Um, and my choices for vegetable juice are kind of limited in this day and age. I mean, I can juice it myself, or I can go with V8, basically. So I'm going with V8. You add vinegar, beef broth in the form of bouillon cubes or seasoning, onion powder, a little bit of garlic, basil, chili, and artificial sweetener. This is Weight Watchers, so low fat, low sugar, low everything except apparently salt, because V8's pretty salty, and you're adding bouillon to it to begin with. So you just take all those ingredients, put them in a saucepan, simmer them for 40 minutes until it's reduced down by half. Since I am making a single serving of this, it's probably not going to take the full 40 minutes for it to reduce by half. It's just a smaller volume that I have to simmer. So let's just make this thing. Okay, so see if I can show you this without dumping it on the ground. Mine doesn't look quite like the picture. I wasn't able to find dried soybeans that I could cook up. The only thing that I could find were frozen edamame, which are actually immature soybeans. They're green, they're more easily snackable, I guess, and so people kind of consume them that way. It should be okay. Even reduced by half, the sauce doesn't seem quite as thick as in the photo. It's still kind of, it's thickened. It definitely reduced by half, but it's still a little soupy, a little saucy, or a little runny as a sauce, but I'm still going to try it. The edamame still has, it's cooked, but it still has a little bit of resistance to it. So there's a little bit of a nutty, sort of a nutty crunch to that. Frozen cooked spinach is frozen cooked spinach. There's really not a whole lot you can do about that texture, other than mix it up with other goopy things and use it as an ingredient in a larger whole, which this sort of is, but coupled with the slightly, I won't say crunchy, but slightly firmer edamame beans, it's kind of mush. This is okay. Now, obviously, the sauce is the main source of actual flavor. The edamame and the spinach are basically green with a little bit of nuttiness to it. Except just some of the sauce itself. I know that the vinegar is attempting to kind of counteract the sweetness of the artificial sweetener that I added, but it's still quite sweet with just a bit of tang. Honestly, this isn't that far off from Chef Boyardee. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but not necessarily something that I'm really looking for right now. But I think if you're going to have an Italian esque dish that incorporates soybeans into it, I think there are more interesting things to do with it, like actually putting the soybeans into the pasta. I think there's a way that we can sort of rejigger this, use a lot of the same ingredients, um, but come up with something that's a little bit more palatable. Yeah, let's get that. I'm starting my pasta sauce off by sauteing some mirepoix ingredients, just carrot, onion, celery, and garlic thrown in, sauteed until they soften and just a little bit of color on them. Throw them into some crushed tomato, a little bit of red wine, bring that up to a simmer, and continue simmering for it was about 40 minutes, along with the addition of some herbs and spices, some salt, a little bit of black pepper, some Italian seasoning here, which includes thyme, tarragon, a little bit of rosemary, I think, was in there, basil, and some crushed red pepper flakes here. And just while that's simmering, I'm boiling some water to cook my only bean soybean pasta. This is linguine that is made entirely out of soybean flour. Never tried it before, so we're going to try it now. And after about 12 minutes of boiling, that's done, drained out, and combined with my now simmered pasta sauce. And just stir and toss gently to combine that. And it was right around this point when I realized I hadn't actually added the soybeans or spinach that I had left over from the other recipe. So I quickly microwaved those, threw them in, and stirred them in. Served this with just a bit of grated Parmesan over the top. So, how was that? Not bad. Probably not the best garden marinara sauce that I've ever made. Particularly since I almost forgot to add the hero ingredient of the dish for this particular application. But whatever. As far as the only bean soybean pasta, also not bad, but not great. It had sort of a rubbery texture to it, sort of beyond or perhaps beside the typical sort of al dente chewiness of regular wheat pasta. Um, that sort of took me out of it a little bit. It was, just enough to make me go, interesting, but not enough that it was gross, just different. It would definitely be something that I would need to get used to. But if you have a sort of a gluten sensitivity or a wheat allergy, it's a viable alternative. Assuming that the consumption of soy is also not a problem for you. But if soy is a problem for you, then this episode is not for you. So, what do you think? Would you give Soybeans Italiano a try? Or how else would you have redeemed this recipe? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, your recommendations and ideas are welcome. So please include those in your comments below as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe as well. So until next time, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again here on Recipe Redemption.